Check this out. It's like a gigantic waterbed. Woo! I feel like it's going to explode. There are two different versions of the Trans-Ecuador mountain bike route. One follows a network of dirt roads, while the other is optimised for single track and hiking trails. Although it's the middle of the wet season, I'll be attempting as many of the off-road sections as possible so that I can get deep into Ecuador's wilderness areas. It's a wet day timetable today, but I'm absolutely loving it. I'm at about 3,000 meters riding along a ridge, and I'm right up in the cloud forest, so it's absolutely stunning. I always feel bad when the puppies follow me. This guy's been following along for about 10 kilometers now, and there's going to be a time today when he gets dropped. You're probably thinking, Ali, don't feed them, don't give them attention, otherwise you're misleading them. But the thing is, if a dog wants to follow you, there is nothing you can do about it. Alright, so while the puppy was talking to some other dogs in the village back there, I hit the gas. It's for his own good. As much as I'd like to adopt every single dog that I meet, I just can't take them all to Alaska. The wet season is proving quite challenging over this terrain. All of the trails are just completely waterlogged. So I'm averaging about 1 kilometer an hour. Just the way it is, isn't it? hoping to be able to ride a little bit more of this trail. It's been either super swampy or rocky and rutty like it is here. But that's okay. I've got lots of food. I'm good for 4 days. So let's keep going. This is proper hiker bike. I've just had a perfect 10-minute break in the weather so that I could pack up the tent. It's all nice and dry, but I think it's going to be a pretty wet and stormy day today. The mud here is absolutely outrageous. I am not going to be able to do cycling on this trail today. Even just pushing my bike through this mud and over all of the slippery rocks feels impossible. The mud isn't even nice mud. There's lots of big stones in it, so you have to wash your feet all the time. It's amazing how it's just 12 hours of rain, which is the difference between being able to push your touring bike on a trail and completely stopping you in your tracks. So I got off that hiking trail, but now I'm trying to do a bit of a shortcut in the middle of nowhere, and I'm looking for a road. My maps say that I should link up to a trail about here, but there's definitely nothing here. I guess I'll just do a few kilometers of bush bashing. So this used to be the trail, but as you can see, it hasn't been used for a really long time, and there's just no way I'm going to get my bike down here. The marked trail was way too overgrown to be able to take a touring bike through it. So what I've done is scouted out this road. I'm about 2 kilometers away from my bike, but I know for sure that I'll be able to wheel my bike down here. It looks like I'm out of that mess. I'm finally on a dirt road which should be going somewhere. If you come across my GPX route files anywhere, do me a favor and please don't follow them. That would be silly. So why don't I use a lighter, more capable bike for my off-road riding? Great question. My bike and gear is optimized for what I do most, and that's riding on smoother roads, be it dirt or tarmac. Despite what it may look like in my films, the truly rough off-road sections actually make up a very small percentage of my overall journey. I've found a sturdy touring bike like my Koga World Traveller will at slightly slower speeds handle the rough stuff just fine.
This doesn't mean my bike setup is what I'd recommend for riding a short section of the Andes, but it seems perfect for a multi-year bike adventure across continents.
Still there, wonder how you feel, and I close my eyes, I free my mind. Your shadow still there, wonder how I feel, and I realize I'm free my heart.
I'm super excited because I've just stumbled across these crazy looking plants. They're super rare because they only exist within a very narrow climate range, so they can't be too high or too low in terms of elevation. There can't be too much or too little rainfall. They have to be protected from the wind. The temperature range can't exceed a certain amount. I would be really surprised if I stumbled across any more in this section of the Andes. They also take decades and decades and decades to germinate, so I think I've just lucked out. The tracks are very muddy today, and the rain definitely isn't helping. Absolutely foul. It's crazy windy, I can't see anything, and it's super wet. So the trails, although yesterday were perfect, today they're just an absolute mess. Anyway, I can't turn around, I'm way too deep into this trail, so better stop procrastinating. I've just crossed over the pass. The last valley was so wet, windy and miserable. Can't believe the contrast. It's all sunny, it's nice and still. My mood's improved. What was I doing in that other valley? You thought that Mount Everest was the highest point on Earth, didn't you? Well, you were wrong, my friend. Because the Earth bulges at the equator, the volcano that I'm currently cycling up is actually the closest bit of land to space. I've seen a lot of volcanoes in my time, and I think Chimborazo is one of the most impressive. It's that red and yellow colorway, it's so striking. If I was ever going to do a cooking show, it was going to be at the closest point to space. Tonight, we'll be making Ali's spiced lentils. To make this meal, you'll need a pot full of fresh water, a stove, a couple of veggies and a veggie stock cube, some lentils, and a few spices. I've got cumin, curry, and chili. You'll first need to start your stove and get your water on the boil. Then you'll be adding about 100 grams of lentils. You can now add the flavoring, so there's the veggie stock cube. We'll need some cumin, some chili spice, and some curry spice. Then you can give it a bit of a stir just to get all of the flavors going, and pop on the lid. While the lentils are being cooking, I've chopped up all of my vegetables and I'm going to add them to the pot and give them another stir. And now we'll be adding the lid and waiting about 10 minutes. Alright, the 10 minutes are up. It's smelling amazing. I've taste tested the lentils, everything's cooked nicely, so we can take it off the boil. We're now going to be adding the secret ingredient. Oats. Give it a good stir through so that the oats soak up all of that delicious flavour. I love this meal because it's delicious, it's healthy, it has about 50 grams of protein, it's high in fibre, and because the oats, lentils and spices are dehydrated, it's actually quite lightweight to carry. That's a cracking meal. Compliments to the chef. If I was smart, I'd take the road down the volcano, but that's no fun. Let's go straight down the side. So far, my favourite dirt road section of the Trans-Ecuador is just south of Angamarca. The road carves directly into the side of the mountain and there's such good views down the valley. Normally the kids push me up the hill, but these ones are getting a bloody ride. The bad news is that this video is over. The good news is that Trans-Ecuador Part 2 is coming soon. If you'd like to check out some photos and stories from my journey, including the time last week when I got groped by a farmer, you'll want to check out my Instagram and Facebook pages. Also, thanks to everyone who supports my work. It allows me to replace broken gear and improve the production value of my videos. Don't forget to like.